Highbury is a large metropolitan school. We're at the base of the Adelaide Hills. It's really important, I think, to have somebody with the defined role of the professional experience coordinator at a school. At the moment at my school, you know, that's me. It could be principals, it could be deputies.
In the good school-university partnerships, the roles that are played by various people are really important. Strong partnerships, I think there's an ongoing aspect to it. For example, the one here at Highbury that I've worked with Carol, we've been working in partnership for about 10 years. She's a magnificent leader of professional experience at her school, and that helps form the partnership.
We're a large school, and so when we have pre-service teachers, we have about 8 who come at a time, and we usually have 2 pre-service teachers together in one class. It's absolutely a teamwork, and I always model my commitment to having pre-service teachers in our school.
My name's Stel Psalios. I did the Masters of Teaching at UniSA and I had my first and second practicum here at Highbury. Because I was here for so long, I really got to know, the leadership and the other staff as well, so we could bounce off ideas and talk about, what's been going on in the classrooms and things like that.
For me, and the partnership that I've been working with Carol has underpinned on a learning communities model. So the learning community that exists in a school, we also try at uni to set up learning communities for pre-service teachers to experience that. What we've found is that the notion of that partnership and the role of the leader is absolutely crucial in supporting this learning communities approach.
Still is a very good case in point. He came as a pre-service teacher. We had about 8 in that particular year. So he was an active and influential member of the group. So they work together and they share on their experiences.
When I was on placement, we'd had meetings every week. She really kind of questioned us to make us think a bit further. It was a bit daunting at first, but it helped me in the practicum just to really reflect on my teaching and my pedagogy.
So I'll structure some things that occur during that time, and so too does the university. So instead of just drifting through it, I'll actually focus on some particular areas because I know it's relevant to that group at that time in this particular setting.
It's really important that we have integrated programs of initial teacher education because we know from the literature there's a huge theory-practice divide, and this is where I just draw on the Highbury experience and my work with Carol. We would at university introduce the students to a reflection model, and it was basically a tiered model where the students learnt to question at 3 levels: what, why, for whom. So I could introduce it and teach it what it meant at uni. I'd come out and have a learning conversation with the pre-service teachers, but then Carol knew that and would follow it up then with her questions, ensuring that the 3rd level question, the for whom, which is a social justice question, which is really, really important, that actually gets done. So that integration and following and supporting the learning across the different spaces is really important, as is the notion of reflexivity. In teacher education, we know that unless we get them to reflect on their own values and beliefs and assumptions about what it means to be a teacher, initial teacher ed won't have any impact. So again, when the coordinators know that and they can work in that space in schools as well as in university, we've got more chance of initial teacher education having the impact that we would hope it would have.
I try to make sure that pre-service teachers are visible as well, because if they're visible to everybody, then it becomes everybody's business. So it's not about having a pre-service teacher working with one mentor teacher. So really get pre-service teachers to come into the staff room to be part of our staff. I often try to find a voice for them in staff meetings as well. No mentor teacher would work in isolation. We all work together.
It'll be very easy for leaders to say, look, just let someone else look after the pre-service teachers. But in a way, it's the hidden message there too. As soon as a leader takes it on, they're giving a very clear message to staff. This is important.
The mentor teachers meet with me, and I do that on a regular basis, and I'm making sure that I'm monitoring the kinds of things that the mentor teachers are doing with the pre-service teachers, because otherwise pre-service teachers will come in and they'll get to see how things are operating in a school, but they won't necessarily understand what sits beneath all of that. I'm also liaising with the university around that. That's why it's absolutely critical to have somebody in that role.
Again, it's really helpful where the uni person works closely with the leaders, because then the leaders will actually do a lot of the work that they do as part of the normal learning plan with their teachers. They'll include the aspect of supervision in that. So it actually becomes part of the site learning plan. And so having all of that is really important. Really good with the coordinator meetings that we have with the other coordinators.
Yeah.
Where leaders make the time and prioritise pre-service teachers learning alongside their teachers, then it really makes a difference.
I notice the pre-service teachers who seem to do best of all, they feel like that they're playing an important part in the life of the children, and that also people on staff are counting on them in some way. So it's that partnership that can evolve.
It's very different to a traditional practicum. Traditional prac is where students are just placed in schools, they're almost expected to learn by osmosis. They watch, they observe, and then they do it. And what we know is that the learning process for pre-service teachers is much more than that. And CLUE leaders get that, and improving teachers' practice, improving teachers' thinking about their practice and their understanding of practice, then will increase students' learning and impact in a positive way. And that's similarly for pre-service teachers.
You can either go through the motions, or you can actually really be thoughtful in what it is that you're doing, and it does make a difference.